I'm going to leave the all of the trade war and tariffs talk aside for a moment. I want to talk to you about something else that I believe is absolutely fundamental to any free and civilized society. The right to defend yourself. The right to defend your loved ones. The right to defend your home and property. And in Canada, this right is under siege. Our so-called justice system is twisted beyond all recognition, punishing the law-abiding while coddling the criminals. We all know this. And it's way past time we change this. But I want you to consider something that just happened yesterday in South Glengarry Township, Ontario. It was a home invasion that turned deadly, but not in the way you might expect. Two intruders entered a private residence, a place where a family should feel safe. But instead of becoming victims, the residents fought back. And by the time police arrived, two of the criminals lay dead. The homeowners, thankfully, were unharmed. And yet, what happened next was infuriatingly predictable in Trudeau's Canada. The homeowners were arrested. Not charged yet, but arrested. Their gun seized. Their right to self-defense immediately called into question. They were eventually released, but the fact that they were taken into custody at all tells you everything about the state of justice in this country. And this case is a chilling reminder. In Canada, if you dare to protect yourself and your family, you will be treated as the criminal. We don't even have to imagine. This has already happened. Look at the case of Peter Kill, the Hamilton area homeowner and former military reservist who shot and killed an intruder, John Stiers, back in 2016. Kiel woke up in the middle of the night to find Stiers breaking into his truck. Acting on military training and pure survival instinct, he grabbed his shotgun, he confronted the intruder. The situation escalated in seconds, and Stiers was shot and killed. A clear case of self-defense. A man protecting his home from a criminal. But not in Justin Trudeau's Canada. Kiel was arrested, charged with second-degree murder, and dragged through years of legal hell. And then there's the case of Ali Meehan, a Milton man who shot an armed intruder inside his own home in early 2023. Meehan was arrested, charged with second-degree murder, and thrown into the nightmare of the Canadian justice system for the crime of defending himself and his mother. His lawyer made it clear. Meehan acted in self-defense against an armed home invader. But did that matter? No. He was treated like a criminal. Yes, the charge was eventually dropped. Eventually. But imagine having a murder charge hanging over your head, being arrested, being dragged through the legal system for months, if not years. The punishment is the process. The state made sure Ali Meehan suffered simply for refusing to be a victim. This never should have happened. This is insanity. This is an inversion of justice. This is a message to every criminal out there. Break into a Canadian's home, and the worst thing that can happen to you is you might get arrested. But the homeowner, the law-abiding citizen, is the one who faces legal jeopardy. Enough is enough. Canada needs a castle law. A law that enshrines beyond any doubt a citizen's right to defend their home and their loved ones with force, up to and including deadly force, without fear of prosecution. We need a legal doctrine that recognizes what should be obvious. A person's home is their castle, their last line of defense, and that anyone who unlawfully enters forfeits their right to safety. In the United States, over half the states have clear castle doctrine laws. In these states, if you're inside your home and an intruder enters, you're presumed to be in reasonable fear for your life. You don't have to prove that you were in danger. The law assumes it. And more importantly, you are immune from prosecution. No endless court battles, no years of legal purgatory, no being treated like a criminal for protecting what is yours. Canada's legal system, by contrast, is a joke. We have a criminal code that claims to allow self-defense, but the burden is entirely on the victim to prove that their actions were justified. That means if you used force against an intruder, you must prove, 1, that you believed you were under threat, 2, that your response was reasonable, 3, that you had no other options. In other words, the Crown can twist your actions in 100 different ways to argue you shouldn't have defended yourself. Maybe they'll say you could have run away. Maybe they'll say the intruder wasn't armed, so you shouldn't have escalated. Maybe they'll say you used too much force. Lunacy. Let's be clear about why we don't already have a castle law in Canada. It's because the people running this country, Trudeau and his cabal, don't believe in your right to defend yourself. They don't believe in personal responsibility, in self-reliance, in the fundamental human right to self-preservation. They believe in centralized control. They believe the state should have a monopoly on force. They believe that you, the law-abiding citizen, should be defenseless. You're supposed to cower under your bed and call 911, and then good luck to you. They've already come after your guns. They've already weakened our police forces. They've already unleashed chaos in our streets with soft-on-crime policies. And now they want to make sure that if you do stand up for yourself, you'll be the one to pay the price. What does that tell criminals? It tells them they have the upper hand. It tells them there are no real consequences. It tells them that if a homeowner tries to resist, the system will side with them, not the victim. This must end. It's time to demand a castle law in Canada. It's time to demand that our government recognize the fundamental right to self-defense. We need a law that presumes that any unlawful entry into a home is a threat to the occupants. We need a law that grants homeowners full immunity from prosecution if they use force against an intruder, that removes the requirement to prove that self-defense was reasonable or proportional, that sends a clear message to criminals. If you break into someone's home, you may not come out alive. This isn't about vigilante justice. This is about the most basic of human rights, the right to protect oneself and one's family. It's about restoring the balance of power, about ensuring that law-abiding citizens are not treated as criminals for refusing to be victims. If our government refuses to protect its citizens, then we must demand the legal right to protect ourselves. The time for excuses is over. The time for action is now. A castle law isn't just necessary, it's long overdue. Because if we don't stand up for our rights today, we may not have a home left to defend tomorrow. That, my friends, is the truth. Hey, this is Richard Syrett. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe.